Hi and welcome to my channel, Mazzaline Holistic Life Coach. 5 steps to a healthier mindset. I hope you enjoyed my last podcast called How to Declutter Your Life and how certain colors can affect the way you think and the layout of your home. And we also looked at how decluttering our home can also help us to have a healthier mindset. I'd also like to just thank a couple of my listeners. One who had said they had decided to start wearing more colourful clothing, and another that they had been putting off DIY jobs for a very long time. And after listening to my podcast, gave them that push that they needed in the right direction to start decluttering their lives. Once again, thank you to them. Today we're going to be looking at Knowing Your Worth, Series 4. We'll be looking at why sometimes we may feel worthless. What are some of the possible causes? Could it be relationships? Could it be self-confidence? Or a lack of self-belief, and much more. We'll also look at some tips, suggestions on what sort of things we can do to break those cycles. Let's now look at why sometimes we may feel worthless. Just to reiterate, I don't have all the answers, and these podcasts are purely to assist, tips, suggestions. You don't have to apply them. You can merely listen to them for entertainment purposes or take bits out or apply them if you wish. Great, let's begin. There can be many reasons for why we may feel worthless. It could be that we've always been told we are worthless. It could be that all we've ever known. It could be we lack confidence and self-belief in ourselves. It could be because maybe you've been bullied and it's caused you to have low self-esteem. It could be that during your schooling or educational period that perhaps you had a teacher or a peer that told you you'd never become anything in life. Or maybe you never felt that you quite fitted in during those periods. And that has had a long-term effect on you. It could possibly be your environment, maybe your accommodation, or the area that you live in don't quite inspire you. Or it could be that perhaps people have made comments about where you live. Or it could be seeing other families that have a close relationship, and perhaps in your life you don't have that closeness and you so much desire to have that. It could be financial, not being able to afford certain things in your life. It could be lifestyle. There could be so many reasons. There's a phrase or a saying that sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I recall that phrase being told to me growing up. I think that phrase do have some merit. However, words or unkind words can have a lasting effect on one's mental well-being. Even though it's not physical scar, it is a mental scar, and not lessen either effects. Let's look at some of the scenarios of low self-esteem or low self-worth. Have you ever been in a situation where someone puts you down in front of others, whether in jest or deliberate, and you've laughed it off to save face, but deep down you are really hurt? Have you ever felt that no matter what you do, it's never enough, whether for someone else or in your own personal life? Let's now look at some of the tips and suggestions of how we can undo some of these traits and turn them around into a positive way of thinking. How do we begin to know our worth? Firstly, we need to identify when the situation first happened, how it made us feel at the time, and also what made us feel that way. What was it that was said that had that lasting effect on us? When did we start to normalize these feelings? Then it became who we are today. I think also recognizing and understanding the impact this has had in your life and on your mental well-being and mindset. Once we've started to identify these reasons, we can now begin to change the negative thoughts around to positive thoughts about ourselves. You could start by saying positive words about yourself to yourself by saying words like, I know my worth. I'm worth more than what people said or thought of me. Or I have wasted many years of my life believing these words and I had become these words. I am no longer going to let these words steal the rest of my life from me. I will no longer allow these words to stop my mental growth. Other words of encouragement that you can say to yourself are, I will no longer allow people to control my thoughts. It is time to start a new chapter in your life. I am me, and I am my own person. I love myself. I love who I am. I am also important. It's also important to remember, if you don't love yourself, how then can you expect others to love you? We are all made up differently. We are all unique in our own way. If people don't accept us for who we are, that's okay. We'll be okay. There will be people in our life that will love us for who we are. We need to keep our focus. We need to turn around these negative thoughts, this negative mindset that has hindered us from progression, to now turn our life a full circle round to a new. Sometimes these things may feel hard to change because we're so used to these patterns of behavior. We're so used to these patterns of thoughts, and they have become who we've become. But we don't have to accept these behaviors, these traits, these thoughts. We can do so much things, different things, small steps to a healthier mindset. Without a healthy mind, it can affect many parts of our body. It can restrict us from moving forward. It can restrict us from having a happier life. It can restrict us from seeing the future ahead. By these small steps and recognizing our worth, we will become worthy and feel worthy in ourselves. There's many things that we can do and look forward to. There's a big wide world out there. We just have to take that leap of faith and say no longer are we going to become what we have become. That it is time for us to progress. It is time for us to overcome these obstacles, this blockage, this mind of thoughts, and become what we should have been, but that we can become. We have got to take those steps every day. It's not going to be easy, but once you take one step, you'll be able to take another step and another step. And in the end, you will have a victory. And that's the whole idea about the mindset and changing the mindset. That's the whole idea of these podcasts, to show you that you don't have to be that way, that there are other options. And that's why I use the holistic approach, because it's an alternative way of thinking. We haven't got to think the way we've been taught to think. If it's not working, then we can look around to see what fits for us and what suits for us. Not every advice that we are given are going to apply to us, but we can take out small snippets that could perhaps help us along in our journey. I hope that this podcast will be able to open your mind up to other ways of viewing life. I hope that this podcast will be able to give you pinpointers of things perhaps you never thought of before. But this has now helped you to think, right, great, today I'm going to make that change. And now I'd like to close, but leave you with some words of encouragement to you. Stand tall. Say to yourself every day when you wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, I love myself. I love you. And smile. And those words will reflect back to you. I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast and have found it useful. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and continue with a positive mindset. 5 steps to a healthier mind, life, step, goal. Thank you for listening. Bye.